This WBTV high-definition program is sponsored by Time Warner Cable. WBTV News at 6 starts right now.
I think it sends a message.
Tonight, getting the paddle in public schools. Corporal punishment still allowed in several North Carolina counties, and one local school system spanks far more kids than anywhere else in the state.
But first at 6 o'clock, the super secret Project Cardinal revealed. It means big jobs for Charlotte. It sounds like a spy mission, a covert operation. We were all kept in the dark. Tonight we're asking why so much secrecy behind the Siemens expansion. Hello and thank you for being here. I'm Paul Cameron.
And I'm Maureen O'Boyle. Welcome. Siemens Energy is expanding operations, bringing 825 new jobs to Charlotte. It is a big deal, especially right now when so many people are desperately looking for work. The entire project has been very hush-hush for months. A few details would occasionally trickle out. Now, finally, some answers. Business reporter Melissa Hankins is live and on your side in Charlotte. And Melissa, why all the secrecy?
Think of it like a chess game, Maureen. Our state and local leaders say they've been engaged in a silent struggle, strategically plotting every move to win what will ultimately be the biggest manufacturing plant in Mecklenburg County. When Siemens whispered the word expansion, everyone was after a piece of this plant. Other countries, other states. But today we heard we will be the home to a facility almost double the size it is now. By the time Siemens is done building, there will be over 100 million square feet of manufacturing capability right here, and the addition of over 800 jobs. Great news. But I asked our leaders today to explain why they had to give the project a code name.
Confidentiality is important for several reasons. In some cases, there is competition, and we were competing with other locations. There are some job losses in Canada related to this, so there's a great sensitivity that companies have, and appropriately so. So secrecy is a part of the game.
Had Siemens gotten unhappy with North Carolina, what that meant was there would have been no expansion, but there would have also been a closure of the 700-plus jobs that were here.
And in case you're wondering what a cardinal has to do with a manufacturing plant, nothing. It just happens to be our state bird. Live in Charlotte tonight, I'm Melissa Hankins, WBTV, on your side.
Melissa, thanks. This Project Cardinal announcement, the Siemens expansion, further cements our city as an energy hub. Siemens, along with Duke Energy, Shaw, Westinghouse, Areva, and most recently the Babcock and Wilcox Corporation, all have or plan major energy operations here in Charlotte.
Police arrest 3 alleged gangbangers for the shooting of a 15-year-old girl. 17-year-old Jonathan Reyes, 19-year-old Gabriel Cisneros, and 20-year-old Daniel Jimenez, all in custody, all charged with assault with a deadly weapon, inflicting serious injury. You can see it in these bank surveillance photos. They say these guys were fighting with another group when one of them started firing a gun wildly into a crowd. The only person who was hit was a sophomore at East Meck High School, this young lady. Police say Amari Boyd was in the wrong place at the wrong time. She was an innocent bystander.
I heard the gunshots and I tried to get down. I felt like a warm rush go down my leg and I just started screaming, I got shot, I got shot.
Amari is recovering at home and she is expected to be okay.
Friends of a murdered teacher are raising money to help her family members. Yolanda Simon was found dead inside her Monroe home last month. Investigators say Simon was stabbed to death by her neighbor, this man, Lamade Sharon Anderson. Police don't know why, but they say Simon's 6-year-old daughter, Trinity, was in the house, may have witnessed her murder. Now friends are raising money to help support little Trinity. Just eat at the Chick-fil-A in Monroe this Saturday. The restaurant will donate a portion of its day's sales into that fund for the family.
In 26 of North Carolina's 100 counties, kids still get paddlings at school. Doesn't happen often, a handful of times each school year, usually a few dozen spankings at most. In Alexander County, just 3 kids got the paddle, 41 in Caldwell County, 62 kids took licks in Gaston. But get this, Burke County schools tanned the hides of 325 students last year, 325. That's far and away the most number of spankings in North Carolina. A group called Action for Children North Carolina just released the study. They say there are better ways to deal with disruptive behavior, and despite the numbers, Burke County may be moving that way. Steve Onosorge on your side. He has the story.
Corporal punishment is something kids have had to face around here as long as there's been school. A lot of parents are okay with it.
I think it sends a message.
In Burke County, East Burke Middle was the leader last year, more than 100 paddlings. Principal Randy Sain says only 11 cases this year. They are moving to alternatives, but the paddle is never far away.
I do think it still has a place in the schools.
It's the next to last resort, he says, next to suspending a kid.
We'd rather have them in the school than out of school.
The students know it's an option, and parents are always informed and can stop it.
I think each individual parent should decide.
But Superintendent Art Steller thinks the day of the paddle may be past.
Research would show that it's not effective for a lot of students.
The problem is finding something that is to replace the 325 cases of paddling last year.
As high as that number was for last year, officials say the numbers are dropping dramatically this year. In fact, at this school, there hasn't been a single case of paddling the whole year.
Forest Hills Elementary tries to use positive reinforcement, spelling out the rules and trying to catch good behavior, putting names in a jar and having drawings every day.
2 books a day.
When discipline is needed, special detentions may be used, sometimes putting kids to work.
Pulling weeds or helping the custodial staff.
And in each case, parents are told.
And we call every time.
Officials hope to expand this program system-wide, but it will take time. In the meantime, in those other schools, the paddle will stay. In Burke County, Steve Onesorge, WBTV, on your side.
Interesting side note here. Burke County has one of the safest school systems compared to other large schools in North Carolina. Burke County, where they do allow paddling, reported 12 acts of violence per 1,000 students last year. At CMS, there were nearly 19 acts of violence per 1,000. Corporal punishment is banned here in Mecklenburg County.
It began as a grassroots movement to silence the violence. Mothers of Murdered Offspring is known for its balloons, glowing candles, and the color purple. You see it there, all symbols of nonviolence. Now, MAMO is in line for a national honor and getting attention on Capitol Hill. Our Steve Crump is on your side with a look at this local institution that's become so important to our community.
And we continue to add to it.
Judy Williams is connected to a painfully telling yearbook.
These are our record books.
Mothers of Murdered Offspring has consistently honored young lives lost.
Murder dismantles you as a person. It sets you on a different course.
17 years ago, Dee Sumter's daughter, Shauna Hawk, died at the hands of convicted serial killer Henry Louis Wallace. Sumter and Williams formed a bond and organization that remains strong.
You don't let a tragedy like that touch your life, and you continue to act like it didn't happen.
I had the opportunity to meet Judy when Sharika was murdered.
Sandra Adams has been on the front lines with the organization. Her daughter, Sharika, was killed by former Carolina Panther Ray Carruth.
I just don't think anybody else would give 150% like Judy does. I don't think she ever gets tired.
The Congressional Medal of Honor Foundation is looking at MAMO's tireless efforts. The nomination for Judy's community work came from a nearby source, her son, City Councilman David Howard.
I've always been that person that's been about doing. I mean, she's that classic overachiever.
Judy will tell you she's not a one-woman show. This recognition brings a responsibility to continue her work to silence the violence.
Not going to be satisfied until they stop.
But it has slowed down. More than a decade after MAMO took to the streets, Charlotte's murder rate is down by 50%. Steve Crump, WBTV, on your side.
Well, the honor is called the Citizen Above Self Award. MAMO is a finalist in the field of 20. The Congressional Medal of Honor Foundation's results will be made public in about 2 weeks. Of course, we'll pass them on to you.
In my Crime Stoppers report, a snapshot, a familiar face, a criminal. It's the one and only clue the cops have, and they need your help.
Help police take another bad guy off the streets next.
And I'm meteorologist Eric Thomas. Like yesterday, another wave of rain came through today. I suppose three's a charm. We have another one on the way. We'll let you know when to expect that coming up in your weather alert forecast.